Hey guys, ignore the look right now, but obviously, when you going in being a first time mum, you don't really care about how you look. Like, I haven't worn makeup since I gave birth, which shocking. Now I've got my baby here. Obviously I'm not going to show her face because you guys are seeing this video on public social media platforms and I don't show her face on those. So yeah, anyway, she's 6 weeks old today. Yesterday, Friday. It really does shock me, but I do want to talk about my birth. Let's go for it. So, how do we talk about this? So on the 17th of April, about 11 a.m, 12 p.m, something like that. I was called by the hospital to basically be told that my bed would be ready about 4:30 or 5 p.m. Now I did call them myself about a half hour, no, probably about 2 hours before to basically ask them, first time I'm being induced, don't really know what to expect, and you kind of add some lie into that. So they did. They basically told me that, what would be happening, like pass through tablets, stuff like that. And basically said, I'd get a call later on when there was a bed free by either the person I was speaking to herself or by the other midwife, basically, because I was speaking to one of the midwives there. She went on to basically tell me that, yeah, to just kind of expect it. Probably, I definitely will be in then that day, but if anything were to go wrong, loads of people got pulled in or something like that, then I would be the very first on the day after, aka the 18th. Which I was hoping that wouldn't be the case, because otherwise I would have been waiting around for no reason. My boyfriend did go into work that day just because we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know would I be called in the morning, so we were like, right, just go in. If I get a call in the day, I'll call them, let him know. So he did have to keep his phone on call on him that day. Luckily he did finish his entire work day, I guess, before I even got a call. And we were around my parents at the time, so we thought just head round there, probably get the call soon enough and stay around there. So we took all the case and all that and we just stayed around there. So yeah, we went in, got there for about 4:30 in the afternoon, the 17th, and they automatically started monitoring baby and me. So I had the little thing on my finger, which, to be fair, whenever I've seen that on movies and videos and stuff like that of people who've had it on them, I've always felt like it looked tight on their finger, and I would expect it because it's getting your heartbeat, but no, it's actually really loose, and I genuinely thought it might have fallen off, I swear to God. And obviously I had the bands put on my wrist. Now, they are in the baby's room. I probably won't show you guys them. At some point I might, but not at the moment. But yeah, so I did that. Got monitored. It was about an hour of monitoring, and then the midwife came in to basically say, would you like me to put the pessary tablet in now, or would you just like me to monitor the baby a little bit more for you? Entirely up to you. And I said, yeah, go on, let's do it, because I didn't want to have to just wait around. I really, at that point, you get to that point in pregnancy where you're just I just want the baby out now, to be honest, and I keep in mind I did go 5 days over, so that is a reasonably long time to just be waiting around doing nothing, basically. So yeah, that was put in about 10-20 minutes after it was put in. I started to feel very mild cramps, so I thought something's definitely going on. Pain started to intensify, coming up to about 8:30, I don't know, about 8 o'clock really. My boyfriend left about 8:10, probably. Or it could have been 8 o'clock itself too. Roll on about 20 to 9 then. Something like that. It might have been a little bit later than that, but only by a couple of minutes probably. Where I got, well, my waters broke basically. And I was very much like, I think they have. Because I did feel like it almost felt like I pissed myself basically, like I peed myself. So I thought, maybe that happened, because I swear to God, I think I might have sneezed, and I got to that point in pregnancy where TMI, but I'd sneezed and I'd dribble a bit. My bladder's never been that strong, so when it came to that point in pregnancy with the baby pushing really badly on my bladder, that happened, and I'm pretty sure it's probably happened to a lot of people. I don't know, but it did for me anyway. Completely normal, I've heard. Anyway, but yeah, so I went on to, well, call the midwife, called on the buzzer, and they came in. I said, I think my waters are broke, and she was like, you think? So I went on to sit on the chair, because I was obviously on the bed at the time when my waters broke, and she like smelled it, because it was a very strong smell, and she kind of like asked me, what do I think it smells like, you know, because a lot of people say that, and she was trying to change my sheets at the time. I mentioned what I thought it smelled like, and she was like, yeah, that's normally what it does, and that's what I thought it smelled like, to be fair. And she said, well, you know, if it is for sure that your waters have broke now, then it's likely that your waters will keep going until you actually give birth, which I can in fact say is very true. They kept on going, so it was like constantly like feeling just wet, and I hate feeling wet. It's like a pet peeve of mine. So, but then I think what helped that was the fact that I was in so much pain, it just kind of like went over my head. And yeah, I was in a lot of pain. Come across to about 11, I had very, very bad pains then. I couldn't concentrate. I kept like making like very moaning pains, like that kind of like feeling almost. And basically, yeah, so they checked. I was only 1 centimeter dilated, which kind of was like, automatically in my head, I was just like, you got to be kidding me. Because people always say, oh, it's not that bad at 1 centimeter dilated. You know, it's worse when you reach active labour, which they say is about 4 centimeters. So I was like, oh, no way. I don't want to do any more of this. Do you know what I mean? It felt like that. So yeah, and then I got tested again about 3:30 in the morning, I'd say. But rewind a little bit. But when I got obviously checked, being 1 centimeter, my boyfriend and my mum obviously wanted to know what was going on, but I wasn't really feeling like messaging them, because obviously I was in a lot of pain. I did call the midwife and whoever was at the desk on the buzzer for like multiple times across that stage, because like I said, I was in a lot of pain, and obviously no one was allowed to be there with me because it was after visiting hours. So being in that much pain on my own was kind of like very like, oh nah, I don't want to deal with this, basically. I'm gonna sit by my baby a minute. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, so I was kind of like, it was about midnight, I would say, and they basically said, well, after about the time that I clicked the buzzer there, and they came in about midnight, they were like, would you like your boyfriend, or your partner, they said, to come, to help you. I said, well, yeah, I guess, because I basically asked, is there any other pain relief they can give me? And that was roughly about 10, probably, 10, 11, I was asking that. So I did have a pethidine, I think it's pethidine injection, which basically, it's not pain relief, but it's like, it helps to, like, what's the word for it? It helps to, like, make you feel very, like, tired and drowsy, which will just basically help you get through it. And to be honest, it did. I did kind of, like, I was, like, in and out of sleep every couple minutes, because obviously I didn't actually sleep all night because, yeah, a lot of pain. Luckily, I think the feeling of being tired and staying up all night also did help me get through the pain, because I don't normally do all-nighters. So that was definitely a plus. But yeah, it came across to about but yeah, midnight, like I was saying. So I messaged my boyfriend, said, yeah, you can come back up, but only you, basically. My parents obviously would be the ones that were driving my boyfriend back and forth to the hospital. So yeah, they came up, they stayed outside in the van, because they drive, like, it's like a multivan, basically. Something like that. I don't even know. But yeah, so they drove him back, stayed there until they were allowed it back, until obviously my mum was allowed, because she was my second birth partner. Obviously my dad just kind of had to wait until visiting hours. So my boyfriend came in. So I was in a lot of pain, so he understood why I didn't message or anything like that, because obviously when you're in that much pain, like I said, you don't really care about what's going on. And I was, like, groaning constantly, like I said. So yeah, my boyfriend got them to check me again about 3:30, maybe. Could have been 3 a.m. I don't know. I was in a lot of pain again, like I said, so I wasn't really looking at my phone. It was gone 3 that I know of, but I don't know exactly what time they checked. But when they did, I was 4 centimeters dilated. It did take a while though for me to actually get on my back for them to check, because I felt better when I was on my side. Obviously I had the, like, heart rate monitor on, and honestly, like, anything that touched my stomach at that point felt really painful. So having the monitor on there, I kept telling them, can you take it off? I won't lie. Obviously I wanted my baby to be okay, but when you're in that much pain, you just got that monitor on your stomach, you're just like, oh no, get this away. They did, just before they did check me, about an hour or two before, mentioned, do you want gas and air? My boyfriend told them, yeah. I was like, oh, no, it won't help. They kept telling me I need to keep doing it. But yeah, so when they checked, I was 4 centimeters. They said they're gonna go get things ready and go tell the labor ward we're moving to them. But at that point, I kind of got back in the shower, because I did go back and forth the shower, to let it run down my back and my stomach, because it just made me feel somewhat better. I would just been able to just manage the pain, basically. So anyway, when I moved to the labor ward, it was about 4 a.m. at the time. My mum come into the room then, about 5-10 minutes later, I'd say, when I kind of went into the room, which honestly, you won't believe it, but I mean, I didn't. Time really went quickly after I got to the labor ward. I swear to God, I was there about 4 a.m. I didn't give birth until 5:36, which is obviously an hour and 36 minutes. and I actually started pushing at about 5 a.m. So it took 36 minutes to push the baby out, which it felt like I was doing a lot quicker than that, but obviously not. But anyway, yeah, I was doing gas and air at this point. I obviously, when I got to the labour ward, I was like, I want my epidural now, because obviously when you get to the labour ward you can, but obviously you've got to wait for the person who administrates it to do the epidural. And they weren't currently available, so they said we have to keep waiting. So I was using gas in there at this point, just trying to help regulate my breathing, because I didn't think it really helped me in pain matter, which I don't know if it does. I don't know. In my opinion, though, it didn't help me personally. But it, out of any people who may be giving birth anytime soon or anything like that, don't go off my experience. It may work for you, but for me, I didn't feel like it did. But yeah. Anyway, come across to about 5 a.m. then. The epidural couldn't still be done. They checked, thought, let's just check again. Well, actually, at that point, they were like, because they couldn't get the heart monitor to sit properly because I kept moving. They were like, let's put a pin on the baby's head so that basically they can still track the heart rate and make sure that everything's okay. So they were like, oh, well, let's check how many centimeters dilated you are, just in case, just out of curiosity, basically, for them. And when they checked me, I was 10 centimeters. Now, just before they did check, though, I was feeling the urge to push, and I couldn't help myself. I couldn't stop it, so it kept happening. And TMI, but it was like every time I'd push, it squirt blood. Which, I don't like blood, to be honest, but then obviously because I weren't looking, the pain was bad, I weren't that too concerned. But yeah, came to that, and I ended up obviously at 10 centimeters then, but they checked and they just went, Erin, if you feel like pushing, then push. You're 10, basically. There's nothing there, they said. As in, the cervix was fully dilated, which we love that. But yeah, and then I pushed the baby out, basically, and that was with no epidural, just gas and air, which, as someone who doesn't manage pain, at all, I was quite proud of myself, to be honest. Now, who knows how my next birth may end up going, because I definitely want another baby, and I know way too early to talk about it, because I've still got my little newborn here, and she's all okay. But yeah, I'm proud with how everything went, and that's all that matters. She came out healthy. The pain went. My boyfriend cut the cord. So it was overall a very positive experience, and I'm very, very lucky to be saying that, because I know some people don't have that. So, and especially being a first-time mum. Now, I won't lie, I did do everything to try and induce labour before. So if you guys have had a spicy curry as a first-time mum, and maybe you've had sweets, all three. I had all three. I don't think any of the sweets really helped, because from the first one to the last one, everything was still the same. My cervix was soft, but it was not dilated. So basically it was a face, but it weren't dilated, basically. My guess is if I had gone naturally, probably would have been over the week after she actually was born. Because if she was born on the Friday, I think it would have been maybe even the next Friday after that. But obviously, and I will come out with it now, because at the end of the day, my baby is healthy. I did have GD, aka gestational diabetes, which basically means that my placenta worked too hard. I did have my bloods done the other day as part of like my 6 weeks checkup, basically, and to basically check if the GD is still there. Fingers crossed that it's okay. If it's still there, then basically means I have diabetes. Maybe, I don't know, but it's what it is. I mean, they did check when I was pregnant, check whether it was GD only or whether it was actually just type 2 diabetes that hadn't been noticed before, and it was just GD for me. So it just means I don't have diabetes. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, you know, I mean, your insulin's got to get back into thing and working properly anyway after having a baby. It just means that when I do get pregnant next time, I likely may have GD again, and if I do, I'll be checked more. I may end up just being a high-risk pregnancy next time as well, just because of the fact that I've had GD in previous pregnancy. But I don't mind because the baby's healthy. But yeah, I know this was a long video. I appreciate you guys watching till the end to find out how my birth went. And yeah, let's show you guys the baby one last time. 2 seconds. So yeah, this is my baby girl, little Sienna Grace. I love my baby. Hide her face, but look how small she is. She was 7'1" at birth, got weighed last Tuesday, she was 8'10". So it's, yeah. Anyway, see you guys. I had a dream, I got it.